Meanwhile, we know Tea Party groups were targeted by the IRS, but just how political did it get? Remember Christine O'Donnell, who is running in Delaware for Joe Biden's Senate seat? Well, she found out the other day she got into politics, and the day she did, her records were tapped illegally. And the former 2010 Senate candidate joins us right now. Good morning to you, Christine.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so you've gotten some cryptic information from people. Who tapped into your tax account?
Okay. No, what I found this out when a criminal investigator came to visit me in January of this year, was that on the day that I announced my campaign, on March 9th, 2010, someone working for the Delaware government illegally accessed my tax records. Now, coincidentally, on that same day, the IRS filed an erroneous tax lien with Newcastle County. They later dismissed it as a computer error, but that tax lien followed my campaign, still ends up on my credit report, and all of this happened on the very same day that I announced my campaign in 2010.
And it seems as though Senator Chuck Grassley has found out that there's a backdoor system in which state officials can access Americans' private tax records. In this case, it's you.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what happened in my case. And I'm very grateful that Senator Grassley's investigative team has taken on this case, because the TIGTA, the Treasury Department's Inspector General, has decided that this case is closed, and the Department of Justice says that, yes, this case is closed, there's nothing suspicious, and
somebody
Eric
broke
Holder
the
says
law.
There's no reason. And you know what's even more outrageous is that, as the Washington Times reported, this has happened at least 8 other times. And those 8 that the Washington Times talked about earlier this week, I'm not included in that. And then there's the separate investigation of what happened in mine. There's too many coincidences.
Well, who are the other 8, Christine? Who are the other 8? Are they politicians?
I don't know. Yeah, from what I understand, they are candidates or donors to political campaigns.
But here's the bigger story, is that I remember reporting on this, on the show when this happened to you. And it was sort of in a series of, oh, well, here's more bad news for Christine O'Donnell. And I'm wondering if somebody's caught for this, there would be more charges than just tampering with your records. What about defamation? What about other kinds of charges? Because this was your reputation at stake.
Absolutely, and like I said, even though we had the evidence, the IRS just within weeks dismissed this as a so-called computer error. That tax lien, a copy of that erroneous tax lien, was still reported, still held up in front of cameras, used against me from my opponents on both sides of the aisle.
I just want to get your impression real quick of the IRS hearings that you saw yesterday. What's your impression of what we found out?
Well, there are so many unanswered questions. For example, to me, if someone is abusing their power at the IRS and inappropriately accessing the records, the private personal records of political candidates, and then using it to damage them, we need answers. I am completely dumbfounded as to why the criminal investigators have not only closed my case, but why Eric Holder says there's no reason to look any further. But again, I'm so grateful that Senator Grassley and the members of his committee are saying, it's too suspicious not to keep digging.
Well, let's hope somebody does, because you need answers, and we all need answers, because it could be happening to all of us. That's right. All right, Christine.
This is about restoring fairness to the political process, and that affects all Americans, regardless of your political beliefs.
Well put. Christine O'Donnell joined us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.